So how do you feel you were portrayed on the show?
On the show, I was definitely portrayed as a character. Like, I feel like they kind of saw that I was outspoken and honest.
Yeah.
And so they kind of put all of my honesty sound bites all in one, and I looked kind of moody. But I stand by what I said, and I'm straight up, and people know that about me. And what the cameras didn't see a lot of the time was when I was just being chilled out and relaxed, and the girls all back me up on that because we're all friends. So I can't have been too bad.
So you think the honesty was used kind of to paint you in a bad light?
I think that much honesty altogether can look kind of negative, yeah.
And how do you think that it affected your relationship with some of the girls in the house?
I don't think it affected any relationships that I was worried about. I mean, I was honest and straight up about things, and people either liked it or didn't like it, and the people that didn't like it, I wasn't that worried about. But people kind of at the beginning took a little while to realise that I was just being real and I was just being myself, and I think once they got over the initial shock of having such honesty in their face, they kind of just accepted it, and now they're cool with me.
Well, things like the cleaning roster kind of seem to take a turn for the worse, especially with Dakota.
The cleaning roster was successful for the first 2 nights, I'd like to point out. But yeah, it kind of went downhill a little bit. Dakota thought that it was stupid, apparently so did Courtney, but they still did it, so that's all I cared about was the cleaning happening.
Can you talk a bit about your relationship with Lara? Because you guys seem to get along quite well.
My relationship with Lara is a little bit volatile. I mean, she is 16 by every means of the word, and she's very sweet and she's very immature at times, and I found her sometimes just a little bit frustrating, and because I don't feel the need to censor myself, I kind of told her, and she took offence, and like, fair enough, like that's fine, but I kind of would just prefer to be a little bit further away from her than other people. But we then were paired together for a photo shoot, and we worked really well together, and since then we've been no problems.
Do you think some of your problems in the house may have come due to that age gap, you being 20 and...
I think not only the age gap, but the fact that I have a daughter could probably, would have affected my relationships with people, because I'm used to having responsibility and taking care of myself and being, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I think that the age gap definitely affected it.
Did it get harder once Amelia was voted off?
It did get harder once Amelia was voted off, because she kind of helped me with a little bit of the bossing around. And so a bit more of the heat was put onto me. But Amelia and I were very close, and so was Danielle with Amelia. And it was a very big gap kind of left in the house when she left, because she had a big personality and she was missed.
So what was it like being away from your family?
It was really hard being away from my family. It's so unnatural. It was 6 weeks, and we had 1 phone call a week for 10 minutes. And I have a child and a boyfriend, and I'm really close with my mum and dad and sister, and it was just very odd.
Okay, and then in the final episode for you, what was it like when you're standing there and watching everyone else slowly get their name called out, and when you realised that you were in the final 2?
Well, as cheesy as it sounds, I kind of knew that I was going, and I think that's almost why my photo shoot fell apart, because I knew I had a lot riding on it, and when I started failing a little bit, I got really stressed because I knew that this was kind of like my last chance, and then I failed epically, and I knew that I was going. I wasn't surprised at all that I was in the bottom 2, and even less surprised that I went. But obviously it was still kind of like, maybe they won't send me home. But it was okay.
How do you feel about the comments about your eyes? Was that very constructive?
I think it was definitely constructive, because watching the show I can see what they mean, but as for working on that. I'm not really sure how to, so maybe I just need to look in the mirror a bit more.
Do you feel that the judges overall helped you develop?
I think the judges were definitely helpful with their criticism because they know what they're talking about and they know where they're coming from and they've got so many years of experience, and I will definitely take what the judges have taught me and use it in the next kind of modelling that I do.
What do you think was the best advice they gave you?
The best advice they didn't give me personally, I think they gave it to Jamie or something, is to look in the mirror and work out the angles of your face and what looks good and what doesn't, and kind of where is the right place for your face.
And how was it being on a photo shoot?
It was fun being on photo shoots, getting our hair and makeup done and having new sets every week and new outfits and hearing how everyone else went, and it was exciting. It was really new and nothing like I've ever done before.
So what do you think was your worst photo shoot?
My worst photo shoot was with the bird because Chris Cicerich showed me a photo that was better than what they use in judging, but my hand was wrong. And I was like, why don't you just choose that one? Nail me for my hand instead of nailing me for my entire face being wrong. Like,
Was there a lot of pressure every week?
there was a lot of pressure. And I think Dakota said it on the last episode, and that is that you only have to be better than one person to be safe in elimination. But I think there was always the pressure to try and get the first photo as well. So there was lots of pressure on every photo shoot.
And how do you feel the challenges went every week for you?
The challenges tend to go quite well for me. I either gave up from the beginning and didn't even try, or I tried really hard and that's when I won. So I think the challenges taught me a lot about myself and my personality as well, because I tend to give up before I start if I don't think that I'm going to be good at it, but you just never know. So
Is that something you're going to work on now?
definitely.
And what do you want to do now that you're out of the house?
Well, Ruby's my priority, so I don't want her in daycare until she's at least 2. So when she starts daycare, then I'll start looking at my options.